Hi. So as most of you might know, the Apple Vision Pro launched a few months ago, and Rec Room hasn't launched on it yet. There was a lot of advertisement that Rec Room would be on the Apple Vision Pro, but I think they're mainly waiting until they add hand tracking for that. Since it hasn't launched on the Apple Vision Pro yet, no one's gotten to try Rec Room on the Apple Vision Pro yet, till I decide to. So there's these people called Ivory VR. They're this group that makes it so that SteamVR can run on headsets that aren't supposed to run SteamVR or weren't intended to, like the PlayStation VR 1. They've been working on a project since the Apple Vision Pro launched to be able to have SteamVR run on Apple Vision Pro. So of course, since it's now out as a beta to use, people have been able to finally test it out, and I have decided to test it. Since I happen to have an Apple Vision Pro and a PC, I decided I would test it. So I wasn't able to capture my microphone when actually recording footage of the Apple Vision Pro. But what I first noticed was it took a while to get used to having hand tracking instead of controllers. And although the hand tracking was fairly good for the fact that they had to rebind it so that way certain gestures did certain buttons. And it was really strange to figure out, but unfortunately, because there's no finger tracking within Rec Room, full body avatars couldn't do hand finger gestures, but it doesn't really matter because it was just interesting to try and utilize hand tracking in Rec Room, because obviously it's made for Rec Room. But what I decided to do first was I decided to try and go to Golden Trophy. So I made it to Golden Trophy. I had natural grip turned on, so I had to navigate to the watch and actually turn that off. Pretty much how the hands work was I had to, if I wanted to point, I would have to pinch my index and my middle finger and my thumb, I would have to pinch together to make it click, but if it didn't see it, it wouldn't click correctly. It was super interesting to use, but it kind of worked. I was able to kind of move with the sword, but because of how the hand tracking was, it wasn't perfect. Now with the bow, I was tempted to try and get myself to somehow double shot by holding it correctly, but due to the way you press buttons, I was not able to do so, unfortunately. When trying to grab the bow to double shot, I just wasn't able to grab it correctly to do so. So I got close at one point, and I was really sad that I found it, but I kind of gave up because it was a pain to do so. In order to grab, it was just pinching with your thumb and index finger, so it was pretty easy to just pick stuff up, obviously. But moving, I actually had to close my fist and then move the thumb on my top of my hand where I want the joystick to go, which was really interesting. I don't know how they did that. So here I'm trying to shoot the bow, but it's not perfect. As soon as your hand goes off the screen, it lets go. So now here's the tragic bit. So I start off the game of Golden Trophy. I'm ready to kill some goblins, right? I'm ready to have a good time killing goblins on a headset that's not meant to have you kill goblins on. And I gotta make my way over. I accidentally got stuck in a chair, so I had to figure out how to jump. This took a while. But when I figured out how to jump, I walked over. It was a bit laggy because it's not connected to the PC, it's through Wi-Fi. So it's not perfect. The quality wasn't perfect, but it looked pretty good for being Wi-Fi. And due to hand tracking, you can't, it doesn't let you swipe fast enough to deal damage to goblins. I found that out, and it made it so I was just doing a little dancey dance with the goblins. I eventually give up. So once I gave up, I opened my box. I decided to go somewhere else. So I decided to go to Paintball because I want to see what Paintball looks like, and I figured I would grab weapons and try to shoot them. So I end up in paintball. I struggle a lot to walk around because it's a bit hard, but when I grabbed a shotgun, I was able to shoot the shotgun and pew with the shotgun. I would not recommend hard dodging with the knife or walking. Just playing paintball in general, I wouldn't recommend. Grabbing paint mines was a pain. Couldn't really throw them. You could see my boundary for a second. It wasn't perfect. Hand tracking, the thing about seeing this was seeing how difficult hand tracking would be to use. I don't know how Rec Room plans to do hand tracking with the Apple Vision Pro, just due to the fact that it's very not perfect. Like, you can't throw grenades, you can't really throw anything with hand tracking. So unless Apple Vision Pro's hand tracking gets better, or Rec Room has some other way to use the Vision Pro, I don't know, because they're working on hand tracking and it seems not the greatest right now. But given the Apple Vision Pro isn't designed for stuff like this yet, but the fact that this was able to run is pretty impressive. Oh yeah, I tried typing. So I tried typing, because typing's kind of hard, because hand tracking, you gotta be careful with how you're tracking, and it's lagging a little bit, so it's a bit jointing. But I typed that I'm on the Apple Vision Pro. I spelled vision wrong. I figured that out. I realized I spelled it wrong, but I didn't feel like going back. I put a little smiley face. I was like, yay, I did it. There we go. So then I do a thumbs up. On the side, for some reason, it looks kind of distorted. That's kind of how it looked on the Vision Pro, because the Vision Pro is a low field of view, so it's more distorted on the sides. But anyways, then I decide to go to the rec center. To the rec center, I got to see basketball, which I tried grabbing. So I saw basketball, I tried playing with it. There was no way I was gonna make any hoop because you just could not throw it. Throwing was not possible. It was not gonna happen. Obviously. I bet if I could have got double shot working, I could have double shot so fast. Mainly because the grabbing is super funny. You could probably spam grab so fast. But then I walk over the Barbie stuff and I realize, yeah, there's nothing really to do. I learned how to jump, which is crazy. Keep in mind, it was really hard to figure out these hand gestures. I had no idea how this buttons work, so I had to figure it out all on my own. And that was super funny, but I mean, it worked. It technically worked. If I was able to figure out pretty much every button that you could do, then I guess you made something pretty good. I could not push the cart. Sad. So then I decide, after being bored, to go to Rec Rally. Rec Rally was actually pretty good on Apple Vision Pro. I was able to make a whole lap pretty well. I just had to grab the steering wheel and then just pinch and just move where I wanted to drive. I struggled in the beginning though. Don't look at that. So anyways, I'm able to, for the most part, actually drive pretty well, considering I'm just using hand tracking. I did bump into something though. Oh dear. I couldn't figure out how to reverse with hand tracking. But once I figured it out, there we go. I was going good. Yeah, there we go. Then I make a jump, and then I accidentally click into this annoying menu, and I get stuck, and I can't remember how to reverse again. So I'm just stuck here, being like, help me, I'm stuck, I just want to finish the lap. I just want to finish. Next, I open my Steam VR menu, and then I'm like, help, I can't move. And then this did take longer than I thought. Then eventually I reversed, and I was like, oh, I can finish this lap. And then I boost, and I finish. There we go, I finish. I'm celebrating because that was a lot of work with hand tracking. So I decided to get out of the car, and I go to my watch, and I pull out a streamer cam, which was kind of laggy, but you know, it was for the content. So then I get to look at myself and do a thumbs up because I did a good job. Look at me. That's what the true face of someone who dealt with hand tracking does. They do a thumbs up. So yeah, and I wave by. My IRL self waves by, and then I start the recording. So that was my experience with the Apple Vision Pro. Now I could try to connect controllers to it somehow and actually play that way. Maybe that would be better. But I mainly wanted to try out the hand tracking because that's what the Vision Pro is known for. So for the most part, the Apple Vision Pro, it's obviously not fully released, but it was interesting to test it out that way. But I imagine when it fully releases, it'll actually be kind of cool to see Rec Room on it. And it's kind of surprising that they'll put it on that, but not the PSVR 2. But you know, that's Rec Room. Yeah, that was the first look of Rec Room on the Vision Pro, I guess. Not really. It's not out yet. I just need content. Okay, bye.